Good morning, students. In a previous class, as we have seen that that our national leaders had struggled a lot for getting the independence from the British rule, and then after getting independence, now the question arises about the rules and regulations, and for that, the group of 300 people was there to who became the member of the Constituent Assembly, and they met from time to time for the next 3 years to prepare a constitution for India, in which the rules and regulations were uh, there, on the basis of which a government of independent India could be formed. Then it was a great task, big task for our Constituent Assembly members, because many type of diversities were there in Indian society, like different types of languages, people of different languages, different religion, culture, all existed here in India. And we have to prepare, the Constituent Assembly members have to prepare such a constitution which can think of all these diversities, means no harm should be made about these diversities of the people of any caste, color, background they were. Plus they had to also see that choosing that constitution, the poverty, total eradication of poverty is there, and socio-economic reforms. For that, socio-economic reforms will be to be done, and that is why our Constituent Assembly had framed a constitution, means a best type of constitution, which was very good, and in which the following key features were present in that. Now, the main features of a constitution was: first, federalism. We have seen that what does the word federalism means. It refers to the existence of more than one level of the government, and we have seen in our previous class that more than one level of the government means that the government is present at the state level, the central level, and in village and all, in rural areas also, panchayati raj is there, and this panchayati raj is called as the third tier of the government. You can underline this, that panchayati raj is the third tier of the government. And this you have already read about Panchayati Raj in 6th standard. In 7th standard book, you have read about the state government, the activities of the state government, the importance of the state government. And then in 8th class book, you are going to read about the central government. That means all the state governments will be for some particular decisions that is to be taken on the for the national level, that for that particular decision the state also will concern the central government. So finally the state government will be under working under the central government for taking some particular decisions. Otherwise, the state government itself will be powerful enough to take the decisions for the state itself, for upliftment its own area. So now we'll start with today this paragraph, that the vast number of communities in India meant that the system of government needed to be devised that did not involve only persons sitting in the capital city of New Delhi and making decisions for everyone. Now it was necessary for the government to think over again that the person who was sitting at New Delhi, previously it was so that that person was only responsible for taking the decision for the entire country. Now it was to be the reform to be made, a change to be made, that instead of one person having the power to responsibility for the own whole country, it is important to have another level of the government in the states also, so that the decisions could be made for the particular area. So for particular area, the decisions could be taken and the administration of the country could run more smoothly. That is why the government at the state level was to be made. While each state in the India enjoys autonomy in exercising power on certain issues. So on certain issues, the uh, government of state, that is the state government, can take the decisions for the benefit or for the welfare of the people of its own areas, or of its own the subjects, that is the citizens of its own state. But at some level, that is where, as far as nation is concerned, the decision related to national level is concerned, at that time the state had to follow the laws of the central government. So uh, at till state only, if the decision is to be taken, just it is limited to the state only, the decisions to be taken for the state is there, then the state government is powerful enough to take the decision on any particular topic for the benefit of the people of its own state. But as far as national level is concerned, for that the state has to follow the rules of or the laws of central government. So the constitution contains a list that details the issue that each tier of the government can make laws on. That means different types of lists are there. That is the constitution. Our Indian constitution has different types of lists. That is the union list, the state list, the concurrent list. These three types of lists are there uh, in present in the constitution, which shows that which subjects to be included in which list, which government can take decision of which means particular subject, and that detailed issue that each tier of the government can make law on. That means which type of subjects will be included in those lists, and which government to decide about the laws, about the rules of that particular subject. It will be decided by the government itself. So in addition, particular government, that is state level, state list, subjects related to state list, union, that both will decide, concurrent list, both state and central will take the decision for that. And this way this list, different lists were there. In addition, the constitution also specifies where each tier of the government can get money from for the work of that it does. So the money, the from where the government can take the money, it is also well specified in the constitution for the working of the government. Now, under federalism, the state are not merely agents of the federal government. They are not only the agents of the federal government. They are not working only for the federal government, but the main authority they are taking is from the constitution as well. That means whatever constitution, according to the rules and regulations written in the constitution, that has to be followed mainly by the state government. All the persons in India are governed by the laws and policies made by each of these levels of the government. That means whatever policies, whatever laws are framed in the constitution, that all laws and policies are to be followed by the government at all levels, whether it is state level, whether it is uh, central level, or whether it is panchayati raj. So all the levels of the government had to follow some laws, some policies which are specified in the constitution. I hope this federal form of government is clear. That means more than one level of the government is present in the country. That is state level, central level, and the panchayati raj system. Now, parliamentary form of government. In parliamentary form of government, we will see that the people are allowed, the citizens are allowed to cast the vote to choose their representatives who will form the government. Now, the different tiers of the government that you just read about consist of representatives who are elected by the people. Now, representatives are elected by the people, and these representatives are elected by the people through what process? Through electoral process, through elections. So, your class seventh book began with the story of Kanta. I hope you have remembered the story of Kanta, who was a domestic worker, and he was standing in a line to vote during an election. So the same process, that the process of election in which Kanta was standing, she was very happy to see himself in the queue where other people were also there. That other religion people were also there, high class people were also there, the employers were also there, the employee was also there. Means every class of people were present in the same line in which Kanta was standing to cast the vote. So Constitution of India guarantees universal adult franchise for all citizens. That means the guarantee is given to all the citizens of India by the Constitution to have the universal adult suffrage. Universal adult suffrage means that 18 and above 18 years of age, they are allowed to vote, to choose the government or to choose the representatives who will form the government. So that is called universal adult suffrage. So when they are making the constitution, the members of the Constituent Assembly felt that the freedom struggle had prepared the masses for universal adult suffrage, and that this would help encourage a democratic mindset and break the clutches of traditional caste, class, and gender hierarchies. That means the main intention behind this universal adult suffrage that the Constitution provides to all citizens is to make the citizens aware about equality, that they have been provided equality on the basis of means political rights to each and every citizen. Uh, Means without any making discrimination on the basis of caste, color, or gender, or any hierarchies or traditional background and all. But they are all treated equally on the political basis when they are asked to cast the vote to choose the representative for the country. So in this way, the Constituent Assembly, after the freedom struggle, they had prepared the masses. Prepared the masses means they had prepared the subjects. Subjects means the people in such a way that they take uh, means initiative to choose the government. This means that people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. That means they have a direct role. How they will have the direct role? In choosing the representative by casting the vote. If they are going to cast the vote, then definitely they are doing their duty well to elect a representative who will form a government and will take the decision on behalf of the people. So also every citizen of the country, irrespective of his or her social background, can also contest in elections. They can also contest in election. They can stand in election. Any caste, color, or background, any person can stand for the election also. And they also representatives are accountable to the people. They are responsible to the people. Accountable means they are responsible. Whatever decisions they are taking, the representatives are taking, they are responsible for the people, so that they take the decisions in favor of the people only, which might not harm the rights of the people. And you will read more about why representation is crucial. Representation is crucial means is important to a democratic functioning. So, for the smooth functioning of a democratic government, it is very much important for the universal adult suffrage, that people uh, cast the vote to elect the representative which will form the government. So this parliamentary form of government is also clear. Second important key feature of the constitution, that people are getting the right to vote, that is political right. Now, third important feature given in the constitution is separation of powers. Now, here separation of powers means the powers of the government is divided in three main organs of the government. The three main organs of the government is the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Now, what is legislature? Now, legislature means the elected representatives to whom we have elected after casting the vote. We have elected those representatives, so they form the legislature. वो legislature form करते हैं. And what is the work of the legislature? To make the laws. To make the laws is the main work of legislature. The executive, the second organ of the government, is executive. This is the first organ, legislature. Now the second organ of the executive is legislature, sorry, executive. Second organ of the government, it is the smaller group of people who are responsible for implementing laws and running the government. Now, the second organ of the government, that is executive, it is the smaller group of the people, and the main work of the people, of the members of executive, is to implement laws. Implement laws means those laws which are made by the legislature. The executive sees that those laws are implemented, they are made into force in the country and running the government. They are helpful in the running of the government. Those laws which are made by the legislature, they are implemented, they are made into force, they are coming into force with the help of executive only in the country, and the government is run according to it only. And the third organ of the government, that is judiciary. Now what is the function of the judiciary? The judiciary sees that whatever laws are implemented or had come into force by executive in the country, they are carefully followed by each and every one. So if those laws which are implemented by the executive are not followed by the citizens of the country, by the people of the country, that means they are liable for the punishment. अगर वो rules regulations जो executive ने implement किया है, executive ने लगाया है, वो अगर follow नहीं करेंगे लोग, तो they are liable for the punishment, they will get the punishment for that. So the three organs work is clear. First is legislature, which makes the laws. Second, executive, which implements the laws or which uh, make the working of the laws in the country. Then third is judiciary, who sees that those laws are properly followed by the people. Now you will read about judiciary in unit 3 of the same book, class 8th book, which will refer to the system of courts in the country. Now judiciary consists of the courts of the country. Now, in order to prevent the misuse of power by any one branch of the government, the Constitution says that each of these organs should exercise different powers. Now, different powers should be are there of the different organs of the government. So, through this, each organ acts as a check and other organ of the government, and this ensures a balance of the power between the three. Now, all the three organs of the government, they act as a check and balance on the other organ of the government. That means whatever legislature is making the laws, the executive sees that those laws are properly implemented in the country, and whatever laws are implemented by the executive, judiciary sees that those laws are followed by each and every member of the country. So in this way we can say that uh, Constitution had each organ of these armies, each of these organs should exercise the different powers. These organs exercise, how these organs exercise different powers of the government. They had the different working, but then also they act as a check and balance on the other organ of the government. Now here, the side picture, members of the Constituent Assembly feared that the executive might become too strong and ignore its responsibility to the legislature. Now, the members of the Constituent Assembly had a little bit fear that might be in future executive will become more strong, and that is why the assembly included a number of provisions, many provisions, many rules, regulations were may included in the constitution to limit or to control the actions of the executive so that it does not become more powerful than the other two organs. So I hope till here it is clear. Now the word state is often used in this chapter. Again and again the word state is being used. Now this does not refer to the state government. Now whenever we are talking about state in this lesson, that does not refer to the state governments. Rather we use state, we are trying to distinguish it from the government. Means जब हम यहाँ पर state use कर रहे हैं, that means we are uh, distinguishing between the two types of government, that is the government present at the state level and the government present at the central level. Now government is responsible for administrating and enforcing laws. The government can change with the election. Now with the election, if people are not satisfied with the ruling government, they can automatically take a different choice or different opinion in the coming election, and they can change the government also. So the state on the other hand refers to the political institution. So here what does the state refers to? The political institution that represent a sovereign people. Sovereign people means the people who can decide the rules and regulations for themselves. Nobody else can decide the rules and regulations. State can itself decide the rules and regulations for its own area. Who occupy a different definite territory means अपने खुद के area के लिए वो free है decide करने के लिए what rules and regulations should be made. We can thus speak of the Indian state, the Nepali state means अलग-अलग states की अलग-अलग governments है, and they can decide good rules and regulations to uplift their own state for the benefit of their own state. So the Indian state has a democratic form of government. The government is one part of the state. So government is one part of the state. What is government? It is a part of the state. So state refers to more than just government. It cannot be used interchangeably with it. I hope this is clear, the meaning of the word state, which we are using again and again in this lesson. So that's all for today. In the coming, uh, means in the next class, we are going to start with the fundamental rights. Till then, you read the lesson till here, page number 13. And if any doubt, you can ask me. Till we meet next in the next class, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Thank you.